Hi, it's Dr. Jenny here, and today we are talking about feeling fat and tired. If I could name the two things that I hear the most in my practice, it's I feel fatigued all the time. And then the other thing is I feel like I can't lose weight no matter what I do. And it can be so frustrating. So let's talk about that a little bit and why that might happen. So we specialize in our office in custom healthcare solutions and consulting. So we are not the one size fits all. There's a lot of really good programs out there that talk about the basics of good eating and exercise and all of these things that you need to do to be healthy. And quite frankly, some of them are really good. But what I find a lot of times is that those things will work when people are healthy. Their metabolic function is healthy, they can produce energy, they have all the nutrients required for those processes. And so as long as some underlying level of health is there, everything's working perfectly. So what happens when that is not going on? That is when you get this situation where it feels like no matter what you do, your body is not responding the way that you think it could. So how do we look at that, and what do we do? Let's start with a discussion of mitochondrial health. Mitochondria are these little oblong shaped energy powerhouses is a good way to think of them. It's where energy is produced. And there are certain things that are required for those energy production powerhouses to work right and produce energy. Things like B vitamins, CoQ10, magnesium, tons of things that I see people every day on nutrient profiles that I run are deficient in these things. So that's kind of number one strike against a lot of people is their foundational nutrient status is lacking. And I wish I could say it's always this or that or another thing, but it's not. We test a lot of nutrients, and your nutrient profile is going to be different than mine and my husband's, even though like we run these tests on ourselves and we live together, we eat a lot of the same things, but I show up different than him, and I do this with a lot of couples. So as you can see, this is totally custom. You just might not be as efficient at utilizing some of these nutrients. Even though you're eating a lot of the same things and doing the same things, it can look quite different. So we've got that piece of it. This piece of nutrients are missing in a lot of people. And then the other piece of it is mitochondrial health. Like, how is this process working as well as it could? Things like stress, oxidative damage, exposure to certain viruses, mold, exposure to mold and other toxins, big things that impact the health of your mitochondria and your ability to produce energy. So if that's broken, then we have to look at how do we repair that? Well, how do we know if that production powerhouse machine is doing what it should? There's something called an organic acids test, and it's if you look at it, you'll be like, whoa, what is this? Uh, it it looks a little complicated, but basically it's a urine test that there's metabolites that you look at to know whether or not you have healthy, well-functioning mitochondria. And so I usually combine the nutrient and the organic acids test together when I run them, because we want to know if the mitochondria is functioning and healthy. And if it's not, it's usually because it's missing some nutrients. So I just go ahead and in most cases I'll bundle those together because we're going to need the information. It's really hard to fix the problem if you don't know what upstream nutrients are missing that turn that on and create good healthy mitochondria function. So if you visit my blog, which is drjeni.com, drjeni.com/blog, you will see that I have a link in there to the test that I use. You can nerd out on that if you're that kind of person, and see like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we find this out on people. Other things like amino acids are really important too, and they show up on this test too. There's an organic acids portion and a nutrient portion that talks about amino acids and your status of those, especially something called carnitine. That's really important. to help your body turn fat into energy. So many people are just not doing that right. And so what that looks like is you can't feed the energy production cycle, so you don't have the energy, so that's where you're tired and lacking energy, but you also aren't burning fat. So if it's not getting burned, what's happening? It's getting stored, and it usually stores right around the middle as that spare tire, just, you don't want that there. And these issues show up usually a little bit later into adulthood. And the reason why is because these things take years to show up. You've been deficient. If you're deficient in a nutrient, you can be deficient for years and not have a symptom show up. But it's, at some point they do show up. And it shows up as broken mitochondria and energy production cycles not working properly and you not being able to burn fat and all that. I see this over and over and over again. And it's so disheartening if you have been doing all of the right things and you feel like, gosh, why is this happening? Why can I not lose weight? You just give up and get frustrated and quit. A lot of times for me, this shows up as couples that come in and one of them, they've been on the same like diet and weight loss kick, and one of them gets really good results and the other one doesn't, and they get so mad. And sometimes it causes relationship issues and they get mad at each other, and sometimes they're just really frustrated. Like my husband, we went on the keto diet. I hear that all the time. We went on the keto diet and he lost 50 pounds and I didn't lose anything. And why not? We're doing the same thing. Well, if your body can't use fat as an energy source, like we talked about earlier, is the keto diet really going to work for you? That's what the keto diet does, is help you burn fat for energy. And ideally that works really good, and in a healthy body it does. But things go wrong, and so that's when a little more custom tailored approach to you and what you need is the right answer. So anyway, you can check that out if you want to, or if you have questions about that, how that works, and you want me to explain that a little bit more and maybe help you get started with this customizing your plan, then reach out to me for a free consult. Again, it's drjeni.com, drjeni.com. There's a little link on there. You can have a consult with either me or a health coach that works with me. And then what we do, and I'm just loving these. These are just so beneficial for our clients, is once we get a nutrient test on you, we can go ahead and make this kind of a pack for you. So once we know what all your nutrients are missing, if you need some of those things, we create this pack, and it's custom for you. It's exactly what you need, nothing you don't. And it fills in those nutrient gaps that we saw and starts to turn back on that machine so that you feel better. You start to burn energy, or start burning fat for energy, and turning that machine back on. And then we look at making gradual improvements in your diet, and then eventually when you feel better, we add in the exercise, and it just all comes together, and it usually works really well. So anyway, we're happy to help. Reach out to us if we can be of any help to you, and thanks for watching.